back to the Kristin Omdahl Show. This is episode 1040, and we're here live in Southwest Florida at the beach. Check out those waves behind me. Oh my goodness, we've had some major storms here overnight, and the beach is still reflecting it. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know if you're crafting this morning. Let me know if you have questions for me. We'll wait a few seconds here for people to pop over for pre-chat and notifications. Hi, Joe. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. I know sometimes they say, oh, you shouldn't be happy Friday or the weekend. It means you're not happy in your life. You can be happy for anything you want. You know what I mean? You can be happy with your life. You can be happy for every day. And you can still be excited for the weekend, too. You can be excited about anything you want to be excited about. Hi, Martha and Lisa, Barbara, Lily. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Hi, Judy. Hi, Judy. Judy and Judy. Hi, Irene. It is windy here today, but I do have my little bag and dolly set up blocker, and just wanted, I know some people get upset when there's connection issues. I just want to remind you all again, it has nothing to do with me when I have a bad reception. It's not because I showed up early. It's not because I showed up late. It's not because I wore my hair in a ponytail. It's not because I had good things to show or bad things to show you. It just happens sometimes. And, it's one of the risk factors of doing lives outside. If you follow other people that go live with just cell reception because they do things out live in nature, you run more of a risk than when you have, heavy-duty Wi-Fi at home to use. And even sometimes technical things happen there too. So I just wanted to mention that, is it more safe to stay at home? Sure. But I like having that little extra risk factor for doing things out in nature. I think it is really wonderful that we get to do this, and sometimes wonderful things come with a higher risk factor, and I'm okay with that. And that's one of the reasons why I go live. I like not knowing what's going to happen. I like rolling with the punches. I think it's a great example to share for all other aspects of life, and I think it's a great example that I share every day, that I share live. I don't force things to be perfect for you. I share it live with you. And I think there's so much beauty in not knowing how things are going to go. And I think it's always a good lesson to try to be able to roll with things, roll with the punches a little bit. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. But it's also a choice. It's something that I want to do. I want to be able to roll with whatever comes at me. I don't want to freak out. Sometimes I freak out still because I am a human being, but I try really hard to roll with things. And that's one of the reasons why I do think it's really fun to be live and live in nature. Which brings me to another point. I met someone here this morning before we went live who is only here at Wiggins Pass because she is a fan of mine. She's from Poland. She is visiting here from New Hampshire, and she came up to me to tell me what a big fan she is of my designs, my yarns, my shows, my videos, and said that she is only found out about Wiggins Pass because of me, and she is here because of me and enjoying this incredibly beautiful beach. Almost brings me to tears. I think that's so exciting. And so very excited to meet her. I'm going to put my hair up. I knew I was going to have to put my hair up. It's really windy. Let's see, I think I have my ponytail on the wrong wrist for doing this. Hold on. Isn't that cool? All right, so welcome back to the Kristin Omdahl Show, everybody. It is episode 1040, and we are live in Southwest Florida. If you're joining me live, please say hello. If you are crafting, let me know. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about a fan that I met here at the beach this morning. So exciting. Anyway, the big waves are amazing today. And I did tuck myself up into the trees to try to control some of the wind. And I got my bag around. Now, I was sharing something really exciting yesterday that I don't know if the whole message came through because the reception was so bad, that I'm bringing it out again because it was absolutely exciting to share. So we're going to talk about this again. So we talked about laundry bags. We talked about why laundry bags are wonderful in general. You don't lose socks anymore. You can wash more things at one time so that you can reduce the amount of soap and water that you use and electricity that you use. So in general, I am a huge fan of laundry bags. I'd rather do one large load doing all sorts of things than do a bunch of small loads, because I do feel like you're still using less water, less soap, and less electricity. But aside from that, laundry bags are a great way to wash your handmade items because they keep them protected. And then to take that a step further, they are great for washing things with fringe. Where was I going to go with that? But also, I was talking yesterday about the fact that when you have things that are cut fringe, you do run the risk of having messes when you wash things. So I believe that cut fringe is better suited for earrings and jewelry and things that you spot clean. So like the tassel earrings that I've made. I guess I should have worn them today. Oh well. The tassel earrings that I make, where I do a really nice blunt cut on the bottom of the tassels, wonderful for cut fringe. But if you're going to make shawls and garments and things with fringe on them, and you're going to wear them, and you're going to wash them, or you're going to give them for charity, or you're going to give them as gifts, that fringe is not going to hold up in washing. It just isn't. Whether you use a laundry bag or not, it's still compromised yarn, and it's still going to run the risk of tangling. That's why I absolutely love doing chain fringe and twisted fringe. You can do both chain fringe and twisted fringe in knitting and or crochet. Combine them, one or the other. If you're a die-hard knitter that doesn't want to touch a crochet hook ever, you can still do both of these techniques with knitting needles as well. And I've done videos on twisted fringe for knitting, twisted fringe for crochet, even though you could combine the two as well. And you can make chain out of knitting needles or crochet hooks. Chain is just pulling a loop through a loop. I've done it with knitting needles and I've done it with crochet hooks. It can be done either way as well. However, my point is, anytime you can make fringe without cutting the yarn, you have the ability to have fringe that doesn't tangle, holds up through washing, and holds up over time. So yesterday we did a drum roll where I opened up this laundry bag, so I won't be silly and do that again, even though it was super fun. Because yesterday I literally didn't even open the bag from the wash. I threw this Afghan, this is the Carrera Tunisian crochet blanket pattern on my website. I threw this blanket in the laundry bag, zipped it up, put it in the washing machine on a regular cycle with other clothes, put it in the dryer as well, and then literally open it up on camera. But we did that yesterday, so I won't do that again today. But I am going to show you how incredibly beautiful this came out of the washing machine. And look at that fringe. Do you see a single tangle? Nope, not a single. Try to get it where we can contrast with the sky, maybe. There we go. How incredibly beautiful is that? Perfect. And if you needed to zhuzh a piece or two, I mean, whatever, that's fine as well. But in general, this is the way to go for fringe if you want something to hold up. Is cut fringe easy? Yes. And is there a time and a place for cut fringe? Of course. I'm not saying cut fringe is bad. I'm saying when you're planning a project and you're deciding what is the intended use of it. Is this something that's just going to sit somewhere? Whatever. Do I block blankets? It depends on what you mean by block, Karen. Blocking is a form of washing, and absolutely anything that we touch and anything we touch and use is going to get the oils of our skin. It's going to get dirt. It's going to get dust. Things get dirty. Anything that's porous that we touch and use, whether it's clothing or blankets or sheets or towels, they get dirty and they have to be washed. So if you mean blocking, if I'm making a project and I need to make it to size, do I do a gauge swatch and block it? Yes, meaning that I wash it to see how it reacts with water, lay it flat to dry. Yes, this one so blocking is a word that I think gets misused a lot, because blocking is a way to lay something flat to allow it to dry, blocking it to shape. but we often talk about that term in the world of knitting and crochet way too much, actually, when we're really talking about washing. And if something is going to get washed, hand washed, and laid flat to dry, then that's a form of blocking, but you still ultimately need to wash it and dry it. So whether you hand wash and lay flat to dry, or use a laundry bag and machine wash and tumble dry in the dryer, yes, I definitely clean blankets. I clean everything that I use. I hope that answers your question. If anyone has more questions about that subject, please ask, because it is a subject we really can't talk about enough. There's always so many questions about it, and I'm happy to share. Hi, Sharon, and hello to everybody that I missed your names because I was so busy chatting today. Does anybody have any other questions about fringe? Does anybody have any other questions on where and when to use cut fringe and where and when to use twisted fringe or chain fringe? Yes, washing a handmade item before gifting is always a great idea. That is true, Judy. And including washing instructions with a handmade item is always good. Including a delicate soap if it's necessary. Including a laundry bag if it's necessary. Washing instructions. The laundry bag itself. There's so many ways that you can add little bits to a handmade gift to make it a bigger, full-rounded gift, and educate the person on how to take care of the item if it requires special care. Yes, even during the process of making it, it picks up oils and dirt. The longer it takes you to make it, the more oils from your skin go into it, absolutely. Also, yarn, a lot of manufactured yarns are made with oils in the process. When they go through the machines, they get oiled in the process. And so that's part of it as well. A yarn doesn't truly bloom, and you really don't see it bloom and see its final shape until it's been washed. So that's another reason why washing and blocking a gauge swatch is important, so that you can see the hand, meaning the way it feels and touches and the drape of the fabric at the given gauge that you used, and also to see how the fabric responds to water. But it's getting that manufacturing process oil out of the yarn as well. Especially if a yarn goes on a cone before it goes into a ball, they are often oiled before going through those machines. Yes, Karen, you can wash and dry blankets. Depending on the fiber content, I would stay away from heat. Acrylic can melt, so I would stay away from high heat. I would not put it in a laundromat dryer. Yeah, it depends on the yarn. It depends on how it goes in the dryer. You need to check the yarn label. Every fiber reacts differently, whether it's wool, superwash wool, cotton, acrylic, bamboo, mohair, alpaca, whatever. There are washing instructions for every fiber, and most yarn labels will tell you what the yarn washing instructions are. Yep, half heat and cold water should be fine, Karen, but I would never don't take my word for it, go by the yarn label, because every yarn is different, every manufacturer is different, every fiber combination is different, so always refer to your yarn label for washing instructions. Yep, you can lay a cowl flat. That is absolutely true. So a cowl, because it is tubular, it has two layers once it's laid flat. And so the key to keeping that drying quickly is to get some circulating air on it. So with a cowl or anything that has a multi-layer to it, this would be true of a garment too. If you're going to lay it flat to dry, I do think that it is really important to have circulating air for it to dry quicker. The warmer the room, obviously the quicker it dries, but you can put it under a ceiling fan, put it in front of an oscillating floor fan. Any circulating air will help speed up the process. And then I would also flip it as well, because the layer on the surface is going to get more air and going to dry quicker. So if you can flip it over halfway through, it'll speed up the drying time too. Depending on where you live and your humidity, if it takes too long to dry, you might actually start growing mold or mildew. So it's really important to pay attention to your environment and all the other factors involved, and get that item dried as soon as possible. Like if it's going to take several days, that's not going to be a good idea. You're welcome, Nancy. Does anybody have any other questions? And all of these things apply to store-bought clothes as well as handmade items. Because fiber content is the same, right? If you're buying sweaters in the store, if you're buying t-shirts in the store, they all come with fiber, and every fiber has some sort of a requirements, right? And where was I going with this? And how you wash things can, okay, where am I going with this? Avoiding high heat, avoiding harsh chemicals, and avoiding hard agitation is always a good idea, right? Honestly, if we could hand wash everything, our clothes would last so much longer, even our t-shirts. Whatever you have, like leggings like I'm wearing, anything that has stretch in it. Elastic is actually a delicate fiber when it comes to washing. The harsh chemicals in your commercial detergents break down fibers. A lot of them have bleaches and harsh toxic chemicals in them, and so they break down your fibers. Then you put it in hot water with agitation in the washing machine, that amplifies the breaking down of the fibers. Then you put it in the dryer with more agitation and high heat, you're still breaking down the fibers. So whether it's the elastic in lingerie or the lace in lingerie, the elastic in swimwear, the elastic in leggings and shapewear, those fibers are just as important to take care of properly as handmade knit lace or handmade crochet lace. Everything will break down when things are super harsh. So it's always a good idea. Eve, I don't know how to answer that for you. Anything is going to be slower if you're starting off, and anything is going to be quicker as you go. I do not think the twisted fringe takes very long to do, but if you're looking for a quicker solution, I think crochet chain fringe is the fastest of all of the fringes. This is the twisted fringe. Okay, this is the twisted fringe. I did not bring other examples with me, but you can do twisted fringe, crochet chain fringe, or cut fringe, and I feel like the fastest and easiest one is the crochet chain fringe, but that doesn't mean that the twisted fringe is difficult or time consuming. If you're trying to learn something, you'll get better with practice. So I don't know how fast you are to begin with. I happen to be on the faster side of things because I have years and years of experience. So all I can do is gauge for you which one is faster or slower. I can't tell you how long it's going to take for you to make something. I hope that makes sense, because I really do try to answer questions with the best of my abilities. Thank you, Eve. I love the twisted fringe too. I think it's so beautiful. I've done it on shawls, I've done it on blankets, I've done it on lots of things, and honestly, it's something that you'll find in store-bought items too. Let me lift up my blanket that I sit on here every day. This is that one I bought, that mandala blanket I bought at Costco a few years ago. They have twisted fringe on here too. See? That's twisted fringe also. Which, again, I would never buy something that I wanted to use over and over again with cut fringe on it, unless it was something that doesn't get a lot of use or agitation, like earrings. Tassel earrings, great. Tassel charms, great. But anytime you're going to use something that gets a lot of use and needs a lot of laundering, cut fringe is going to wear out. Definitely keeps its shape better. Yes, twisted. Anytime you don't cut the yarn, you are not compromising the yarn, and it will last longer. So it depends on how long you want something to last. That's true too. If you're going to make a blanket or a shawl and you never plan on washing it, like, I'm just going to put it out there. I like to wash things because I like things to be clean, but no judgment. If that's not what you're into, it's fine. No judgment. Cut fringe is fine if you're never going to wash something. Period. But if you're ever going to wash something, you will thank me later that I at least introduced you to other options. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I have another thing to show you today, and it's something that as I'm sorting, organizing, purging, packing, and storing, and all that fun stuff. Kidding. I'm finding lots of cool stuff that I've lost along the way, like my grandpa's wool blanket, bunch of things. And I found another cutie pie yesterday, or a couple days ago. That's right, I brought it to the beach yesterday. And that is the quilt top that I made with my Day of the Dragonfly fabrics. Remember when I designed these fabrics for my first fabric collection? I've done a few since then. I wanted to show you. I was planning on hand stitching the quilting on it. I did the sewing of the quilt pieces on my sewing machine, but then I added the batting to the back side. I think I made the quilt back too. Yeah, oh yeah, I did, because they're all three together now. So now I was going to hand stitch it all together, but I ran out of time or ran out of interest at some point. And so now what I'm planning on doing is maybe taking that stitching out and doing it on the machine instead, because ultimately I want to do a crochet edging around instead of doing some sort of, trim on the front here. I don't know if I can back up enough for this. Oh gosh. Can you see this? There we go. If you can see more of it. Oh, it's so big. All right, well, jammed, and then here's the back. Pretty sure I did a different design on the back. Yeah. So I'll show this again when I have more space. I am really tucked into the trees here today because of the wind. So when we have a little more room, I will show you in a bigger space. But what I'm going to do is probably take out the hand stitching that I started, because I'm not happy with. I wanted to do a starburst, so you can see that I started a starburst here and I was going to work it all the way around, but it didn't really work the way I thought it was going to. So I think I'm going to take that out and maybe end up doing it on the machine instead, or just do something a little simpler. I think I just bit off more than I could chew. So the plan is to stitch the top and bottom together minimally, and then do a crochet edging on it. So it's still a very viable project. It's something that I would love to use, maybe even bring to the beach to sit on too. Wouldn't that be fun? So I had forgotten about it. It was tucked away in a box and I pulled it out. And so once it's done, I will be able to share with you how I'm combining quilting with crochet, and even show you and make a pattern to show you how I did the quilt itself, and then combine it with crochet. So I just thought I'd show you that. So one of the silver linings of everything that I'm doing right now is finding these things. Fun, right? And you can buy all these fabrics. They are available in my Spoonflower shop. Yeah, crochet edging would be beautiful on it. I agree. Thank you. Thank you. All right, does anybody have any other questions? Thanks, Joe. Somebody asked if I'm a quilter. I'm a sewer, so I think you can, if you're a sewer, you can sew anything. Yes, there are some things that are different about quilting because you do more modular pieces, kind of like doing crochet motifs instead of doing whole crochet pieces at one time. Yeah, these are beautiful colors. Yes, you might want to check out my Spoonflower shop. You can find all of these and lots more there. I have several collections that I've done. Day of the Dragonfly was my first collection, and then from there I did several others, and I definitely plan on doing more drawing and more fabric designing when things slow down. Right now I'm still in my transition period But as soon as I get through this transition period, I'm definitely going to be focusing more on design of all sorts, including crochet design, knit design, writing more books, writing more patterns, and doing more fabric design as well. This shirt is in my Amazon shop. Yes, it's hard to stop someone who never gives up. Yes. I could wear this every day. I could read this to myself every day. I feel a little empowered when I look at this t-shirt, and I definitely love to wear it. Sometimes I wear it on days when I don't feel that and I feel like it helps me, and some days I wear it because, yeah, I already feel it before I put it on. Hi, Donna. Marsha loves scrap quilts. Yeah, you know what? I love scrap stuff too. I love stash busters in crochet, and this is one that I cut the collar out, and it's one I think I cut a little too far out. That's why I keep adjusting it this morning. It keeps falling down too far, but I think it's where I'm sitting to, and also because I haven't tied it. When I tie them in the front, I feel like it helps hold the shirt in place better. I know this isn't for everybody, but this is what I do, and that's okay if you don't do that. See how it holds it in place better? And I know that I cut it wide. I'm pretty sure on this one I cut more than just the neckband, but I also buy my shirts really oversized too. I buy double XL most of the time. You know, scrap busters are great, and stash busters are great for lots of reasons. It's a great way to try out new techniques without having to spend a lot of money. It's also a great way to reduce your stash so you have more room to buy more fun things, right? There's a lot of reasons to do stash busters, especially if you have, like, let's say, I'm sure a lot of you, your yarn stash or your fabric stash involves not just whole projects worth of yarn, but the leftovers from a project. And so anytime you can use those up, like, how are you going to donate a half a ball of yarn? How are you going to sell or gift someone a half a ball of yarn? You're not, right? So you fill these bins with the partially used balls because you can't bear to throw it out because you spent money on it. I get it. Stash busters are great for that. And then it reduces the amount of stuff that you're storing too, which always feels good. And I definitely want to talk more about that once I get through this transition stage in my life. I am so excited to talk more about reducing and reusing and repurposing and all that good stuff, and just find a way to have a smaller footprint on the world, in the world, without losing what we love, you know? I think it would be fun to just kind of discuss more balance, that's all. Yes, you could add crochet to tighten this up. Absolutely, absolutely. I have t-shirt tutorials where I've cut the neck out and then crocheted a beautiful crochet collar on a couple of them. Definitely. Definitely do that too. So many options when you're creative. Pretty much unlimited options when you're creative, right? All right. Well, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise. I hope you enjoyed the beach. I hope you enjoyed my show and tells, chatting with me and everyone else. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Try to make some time for self-care. I don't think you'll regret it. And if you don't, no pressure. We always just try again the next day, right? I will see you Monday for the next episode of the Kristin Omdahl Show. Bye-bye.